Hey y'all, it's Shania and I'm back with another word. The word for today is that before you speak and judge a situation, let God move in it so you can see the results of his work. Listen, I know a lot of us, and I'm gonna just speak about me for a moment. I am very judgmental of situations. I can see a person going through an abusive overwhelming relationship, be like, "Baby, y'all don't need to be together." That's just in my mind. They don't need to be together. That's just obviously it ain't working. This ain't for you. I can see people who are, Christians who are consistently moving in sin, especially blatant sin, and just continuing to do things in their lives that they want to do, but doesn't align with God. And I will judge them. I will in my mind. I'll be like, you know what? They don't even resemble God. Like, what are you doing? You need da 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 da. I judge so many things, and it's until I realize, so God has to snap me back into reality and say, but you got to remember what I brought you through. I got to remember the times where I was still smoking weed but then going to church. I got to remember the times where God would be telling me not to go ahead and have sex, but I would still have sex knowing that he told me not to. I got to remember the times where God was pulling me away from the spiritual community. And he was telling me, he was putting in my spirit not to be doing no tarot readings, not to do all this stuff no more. I was brushing my teeth, y'all. It's okay. But I remember he was telling me to do all these things, and I wasn't listening. I was pushing away slowly, but I didn't fully give it up. I remember the times where he was telling me to release relationships and release friendships, and I just couldn't find it in my mindset, or I couldn't make sense of why he wanted me to do that. I remember every time I went against God. And that's what helps me. I think that's what God knows, that I'm a judgmental person. He knows that I can sometimes look at the log in someone else's eye instead of looking at the one that's in mine. And he uses me. He uses what he's brought me through to reel me back in and be like, you remember now, you got to give them grace. You got to give them time. You got to allow them to push forward. I was thinking about the other day, and then this wasn't even the revelation I was coming on here to say, but I was just thinking the other day when I was walking home from the bus stop, that my mama, I'm like my mama's best friend. She vents to me about everything, her friends, her life, what she's feeling, what she's going through. And sometimes it's overwhelming for me, because I just wish that she had more faith. I wish that she stopped letting people overwhelm her mind with all of their troubles and the fact that they don't have faith, they don't have God. So now she's overwhelmed with their lives. Sometimes I wish things were different. And I was thinking in my mind as I was walking home yesterday, I was like, she just gotta stop letting these people vent to her. She need to stop, da 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 da. And then something in my mind said, you need to stop worrying about your mama right now, worry about you. And worry about things that you have done, and the ways that you have done those same things that she's doing. And I was like, you know what, Lord, I'm not gonna worry about my mama right now. I'm gonna keep praying on her, I'm gonna keep loving her, and all these other things. And yesterday, the same day, I came home. My mom was talking to me. She was like, Shania, come here. She said, don't ever stray away from the Lord. Not because of anybody, not because of me, not because of anyone. Because I know I come to you with a lot of my problems, and I talk to you about and vent to you about other people and all these other things. And I was saying to myself today, I'm trying to probably pushing my daughter away from God, or just interrupting her relationship with God with all my drama and all my stuff. And I never want to do that. And it just was like, God, why do you move so fast? Why the same thing I was just thinking about, she came and talked to me about? Why? I mean, it's not as soon as I got home, but within an hour. It had to be within an hour. And God is moving in people's lives. I know we like to judge a situation. I know you like to, you see what something looks like, and it looks terrible from where you are. Or it looks even profitable from where you are. And you're like, oh, maybe that's not good for me. Or that is so good for me just because of the appearance. But that does not mean that there's not a work being done within. Listen, the revelations that I received. Listen, there was a time where I had to go take care of my grandma because she was so sick. And she wasn't sick like inner sick, but her body, like she could not move anymore. She could not walk. She was so weak. She couldn't do anything that she normally does. And I had to take care of my grandma for over a month. I stayed with her. I cooked all her meals. I made sure I gave her a bath. I made sure she went to the restroom. I did everything. And it was just me. And I was so overwhelmed in that circumstance. And upon seeing my grandma, when she was in the nursing home, because she had to be in a nursing home because how bad off she was, so she can get therapy. But after she got released and went back home, I was just like, she's not gonna be able to be the same no more. She probably can't work no more. She's not gonna be able to do none of that no more. Thank you, Jesus. You gave me another testimony. She's not gonna be able to be the same person she was. And throughout that time, and throughout that time I was with her, and even after leaving, my grandma is now back at work. She is going to church. She has a little cooking business, so she's back cooking. She mows her own lawn. She been doing that, but she mows her, like, my grandma is back at it. And if I was just focused on what I can see from the outside, I would have never thought that she would have ever been the same. Because I sat with her each and every day, and I saw her in pain, and I saw her popping pills, and I saw her overwhelmed, and I saw her losing faith. I saw all these things. I saw the decline. What I didn't realize is that God, behind the decline, God was sitting there building her up in a whole different way, beyond what I could see. In that same way, I remember this same grandma that I'm talking about. I used to have seizures back when I was a kid. I used to only have seizures in my sleep. And I remember this grandma, she told me, and there's no animosity or anger towards her, but she told me, she was like, you may not ever be able to get a license. There are like going to be a lot of things that or obstacles or limitations that you may have because you have seizures. So from then on, I was just sitting here thinking like, dang, I won't ever be able to drive. So like somebody's going to always have to be around me. Somebody's going to always have to like be looking over my shoulder. Like, and I did not like that. I hated that for me. But here I am. I want to say over 15 years later, almost 20 years later, if not 20 years later, I haven't had a seizure in about 15 years, up to 20 years. I do have my license. I am not limited by my mind, my body, my mood, nothing. The thing about it is people can judge by the circumstance because the circumstance looks bad. It looks overwhelming. It's something that they can't understand and they can't move through themselves. But the thing is, that does not mean that it's God's will. That does not mean that it's God's determination. We got to be quiet. We got to have faith. We gotta see it through. Because what we take as a situation that's just done for, and the situation is dead and it's never gonna change, it's gonna be the same, and they ain't gonna change. They're gonna continue moving downward. My child ain't gonna never come to God. This man ain't gonna never do right. I ain't gonna never get my money right. My situation is gonna always be bad. Listen, this is not the final say so. I promise you it's not. These are not these 3 testimonies I gave, this is not the only things I've ever been through. This is not the only thing my family's ever been through. No, God brings us through every single time. He got a reputation for being that one. He had a reputation for always coming through. So, don't ever judge a situation for what it is right now. Take it to the Lord, and He's going to deliver you through. All right? Listen, this is all that I got for y'all. God is amazing. He's going to bring you through. And do not let the naysayers and the naysayers around you, even the naysayers that's in your brain, stop you from believing that there's going to be more that comes out of the situation. Even when it looks like, even when the appearance of it is like, it's not going to get better. I have been there. I currently am there sometimes. Like, this ain't going to get better. It's not going to change. Listen. And then God snapped me right out of it like, girl, don't play with me. Do you know what I do with a mess? Do you know what I do with overwhelm? Do you know what I do when people say I can't do it? Girl, do you know I turn up? Yeah, He turn up. And I love that for me. I love that for Him. So, because your God gonna turn up for you, don't ever let yourself sit in a situation where you feel like you will never overcome. Or don't let nobody tell you that you will never overcome. Because one thing God do when nobody don't have faith, he come through and he bust them walls down. So where your faith is like, why the heck I didn't believe before? Because dang, you good. Yeah, that's it. I love y'all. Have a good day. Oh, and if you got something from this, type it in. Bye.